You wouldn't download the car? Well, actually I would. Dumbest marketing I've ever seen. But would I steal a baby? Fallout 3's The Pitt features one of the most interesting moral dilemmas in the entire Fallout franchise. And since one of the first things it does is to strip you of your gear, I thought I'd spare it most of the trouble. I'm going in at level 1, on very hard difficulty, and I'll be making the journey without a single weapon or armor. And as if that wasn't enough, I've decided to also 100% the DLC while also going through its lore. Can you beat The Pitt at level 1? Liam Neeson dipped his meat. The washing machine broke, and Pittsburghisha is special. With 9 in endurance and intelligence, 7 in agility and luck, 6 strength, and 1 in both perception and charisma. Her best skills are lockpick, melee weapons, and small guns. And before we know it, Dad went to get some milk, the Overseer killed Jonas, and Amara would do anything but give the childhood best friend a shot. Now, like I've mentioned in the Operation Anchorage video, the game always levels you up. It's part of the tutorial, which kinda ruins the premise a little bit, but if I write level 1 on the title, people can search for it. And if I say level 2, it sounds weird. Sulking and making a blind bat, I improved lockpick, took the Black Widow perk, donated all my weapons and armor to the floor, made sure that very hard toggled, and I went over Werner's distress signal. He says that he's from a settlement to the north, and that he has information of great value to anyone willing to help free his people. Now, I don't know about you, but my man could have been a bit more distressed. At the very least, he could have promised a bit more than information of great value, but then again, it kinda worked, cause I am on my way. Thing is, I'll have to run through half the map to get there. After a lot less steps than you think, I saw a bloodfly keeping a super mutant company. A little clutch and a swim kept me safe. The mutant was a stormtrooper, but then came the mongrels. And while they did eventually get bored of chasing me and biting my ankles, I don't just mean one pack of dogs, but I made it. And in the radio tower we find Werner shooting back. Bethesda sure loves essential NPCs, so I just assumed Werner would win, but as soon as I saw the Pit Raider with his back turned, I threw in a few punches to speed it up. And the DLC enemy means DLC loot. I got me that sweet metal armor that I can now equip, at least until the Pit strips me of my items. And I promptly told Werner, I'm a merc. I'll do it, but it's not gonna be free. The task is to go with him to the pit and to steal something that will help free his people. He introduces himself as one of the very few healthy survivors, that his people are forced to work like animals, and that the reason he's being chased is because he knows about the cure. Biological and psychological warfare adds a level of disgust to his people being slaves. But as you can probably guess, things are a lot more complicated than we are initially made to believe. Not because he's lying, but because the devil's in the details. And of course that I asked if I'd catch anything just by being near him. It's a role-playing game. If I'm getting cooties, well, it's not gonna be from this guy. But we can't catch it. Unless we stay long enough in the pit. It will get you. So, the plan is simple. And as he puts it, if we control the cure, Asher won't have a choice but to free his friends. We're gonna need a disguise to slip past the gates. And as fortune would have it, there just so happens to be a group of slavers nearby. Meanwhile, I only found a 10mm and a 32 caliber pistol. So I talked to Werner a bit more, but to sum it up, the highlights were simply that once we're in, we should look for Medea. That the operation in this area is supplying people to the pits, and that when the Brotherhood of Steel said hi 30 years ago, they kinda wiped the place out. If anything looked like it could fight back, it became a goner. But we also learned that the pits used to be worse, much worse. It was every man for himself. And those are his words, not mine. In fact, the Brotherhood's insane slaughter is what allowed Asher enough breathing room to seize power. Lastly, well, some people just get sick and die. Others go crazy, but the worst are the ones that turn into animals. That's when he throws that the cure, maybe, can stop all that. Again, the devil's in the details. I did find me a third gun, a Chinese pistol, but then again, the ammo I've got is extremely limited. I don't have a melee weapon. Oh, and then I spent all but 6 rounds of my ammo in one bloodfly. In the camp, Ramsey's just fucking with the captures, rattling the fans. And we're not who they're expecting, except I've got the Black Widow perk. Oh, I was feeling so smug when I saw the option.
Usual price, 200 each. Boss says no trade, cash only.
What's the point? I don't even have enough caps. Did I look up the requirements? No. I thought it would make it more fun to go in blind. Am I feeling stupid? Yeah. Anyways, after getting tired of hearing please, I just tried jumping onto the cage, but apparently volunteering to be a slave aggroes the bodies. So, I thought, let's just pickpocket Ramsey for the slave pen key, use the buff out and medics, grab the tattered drags, and hope that Bethesda truly pulled an essential with Werner. Turns out, I was overthinking. The idiot bunch just focused on him. I even got a few shots in, and for the first time in 20 minutes that I had just been staring at walls while trying to brainstorm, I actually found out that I just needed to, go for it. I got the loot, did plenty of repairs, equipped the rags, and as I'm ready to cross the tunnel, the game warns us. Supplies will be scarce, and we won't be able to return to the capital wasteland until our business in the pit is concluded. And on the other side, Werner sees some pit raiders, and they recognize him. But since they were talking, I thought, hey, how about I just pickpocket that guy's gun? And that's when shots start to get fired. I'm once again lucky that these guys didn't focus on me at all. I'd love to say otherwise, but I just kept exploring. I found more 10mm ammo, and it was business as usual. Finding medics, stimpaks right away, and the Chinese assault rifle, now that was great. Then my man pulled the Legend of Zelda. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. First off, I must say, I am a bit surprised that the plot twist was not me getting sold to Asher. Which, consider all that we know. It's not gonna be, but it could've. Second, after he repeats that we should look for Medea, and when I ask him if I can't just sneak a weapon in, gun or knife, I'm gonna choose the gun, cause that is something that the pit raiders also have. And holding a knife as you're getting shot sounds stupid. And really, did the game just throw me a rifle? A static item, by the way, it's always there, and I can only use it on the bridge? Anyways, I found more stimpaks. Completely forgot that there would be raiders near the building, where I also forgot about the mines. It's my second time ever playing the pit, just so you know. I played the base game a few times when I was a lot younger, but that copy did not have a single DLC. And cause raiders and mines aren't enough, two vicious dogs came by to remind me that stimpaks are meant to be used, and that crappy weapons don't do enough damage. I grabbed the rifle, jumped over the bridge's rails, and I heard a whimper. One dog died. I don't know what happened. I didn't hear a mine. And the other? Well, it's now on the other side of the bridge's other rails. What's going on? I'll take it, but I don't get it. Still, I had my revenge. I kept doing the thing and getting my XP, and then I got sniped. This one is on me. I did not forget the sniper, but I did fall to a mine right after. And then I got reminded why I chose the gun instead of the knife. So, I tried to snipe the guy back. The rifle's ammo ran out. But for some reason, he was useless on this attempt. The second one. The 10mm did a lot more damage than I expected. We got it. I looted everything, knowing we're about to lose every single one of our items. I then saw a guy triggering a mine, what a fool, and I surrendered.
I love it. Another slave wanted back here, huh? What's wrong? Couldn't get over the bridge?
Max shows us exactly the type of person we're dealing with, and he noticed our gear as well. He took it. And as he's telling us to get back to work, we see the name Trog for the first time. Those are the quote-unquote animals that the sickness can turn people into. Anyways, I stole his 32 pistol because I knew I could. That completes the first out of 3 main quests, and we get to see a pretty gnarly display of how the people are treated over here. After Into the Pit, we begin Unsafe working conditions. We see a few workers. I don't know why I was trying to get into the oven, but I know it didn't work, and Medea was actually the one to find us. Before going into her house so we could chat in private, I remember that there'd be some stimpaks hidden on an engine block.
Why are you walking around? Don't you have an assignment?
Sassy! Then I met Kai, and the worst case of acne in Fallout. She is the cook. Well, to be honest, she might just be the waitress. All I know is that she serves the slop. And lunch is basically radiated water and Trog. So, yeah, no thanks. Back to Medea, and she's in a rush. If we take too long, The raiders will come looking for us, except there is no time restraint. It's just for storytelling. She's got a plan to get us into Usher's palace, but it's still too soon for that. Right now, all we need to do is to look busy. And the job she wants us to do is to work for the foreman, collecting steel ingots, which doesn't sound too bad until you realize that that's the job that no one ever wants. In fact, she even says that it's basically a death sentence. Thanks, Medea. The place is full of trogs. But at least Marco in the mill can set us up with a weapon.
What's going on in here, Medea?
She says that she found someone to go into the steel yard to collect 10 ingots, and the dude just replies this.
I hope you also said goodbye.
Now, despite her sense of urgency, we can just stick around to try and figure out things in more detail. Asking about the cure leads to the first real clue. The cure is the first thing in this place that hasn't been infected. She also states that she lived under Usher's rule her whole life, and that she was born shortly after the Brotherhood Scourge, and that does look rough for less than 30. Anyways, it's once again pretty interesting to hear her say that she cannot even imagine how things used to be. Between the Trogs, the Wild Man, and the Brotherhood, she can't even fathom how anything survived, or how Usher managed to control the situation.
Sometimes, just sometimes, I think that maybe things are better with him here.
On the way to the mill, we can meet Nola. If we're injured, she's a medic and she will help us out for free. As for Aiden, he is oddly cheerful.
I'd like to be free, but I'm not. And the harder I cling to that idea, the more miserable I'll be that I'm stuck here.
Fair. Extremely hard to put that into practice in real life, but he is right. In the mill, I met Brand. He's the guy that we can snitch to. I thought he would give me XP, but he didn't. And he's right by the ammo press, which by the end of the DLC will unlock and be able to use to turn scrap metal and ammo into other types of ammo. Not far is an injured man, and I'm too low level. I do not have enough medicine, and right now I've got my priorities. But I'll come back later. And finally we get to meet Marco. He is making a ton of weapons, and he implies that a riot might be in the works. And the weapon he gives you is the auto axe. That weapon is amazing. Lastly, Everett's the guy that's gonna take us into the steel yard. And he too really knows how to boost our confidence with the whole "who did you piss off to get that death sentence" spiel. I also saw a trog, well, just a glimpse of it. I was looking around to make sure I wouldn't miss any loot, and they say 10 ingots, well, there's 100. And I am gonna get the 100. First thing we see in the steel yard's a dead guy. He's got 5 bobby pins, a baseball bat, and some ammo for the assault rifle that's right beside him. And we also get the first 2 ingots. For every 10, Everett's gonna give us a reward. And I'm gonna make it harder on myself by only collecting the rewards after I got every single one of them. And I think I was gonna leave the game running while I went to grab a bottle of water, cause I remember a Trog interrupting me less than 2 seconds after I got up, and... Trog, fledgling? I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit terrified of these guys, not gonna lie, but nah, we're actually fine. These guys, scale down. There's also no easy way to say it, but I didn't encounter a single regular Trog that wasn't a weaker variant. Oh, that and VATS put me on the other side of the fence. At least that ought to be a nice little change of pace. And so, hydrated and hellbent on finding ingots, I got to work. This got me to level 3. I think lockpick 50 is the most that I might need, and I'm just gonna put the rest of the points into melee cause we are going to need it. As for the perk, I went with gun nuts for the boost in both small guns and repair. And the auto axe is a bit bugged, and I don't mean how overpowered it turned out to be, it gets invisible. If you look at the floor at a certain angle, it will suddenly become visible again as long as you're at that angle. And I already forgot some ingots, but I'll be back. There's some more by a Pitt Raider, and his armor's a lot better than the clothes I had. But I forgot to equip it. It's fine, we're fine. And I'm gonna have to speed these up and only talk about the highlights, cause otherwise I'd just bore you. Getting 10 steel ingots gives us the Auto Axe perk. The Auto Axe and its unique variants now do 25% more damage, so to think that I was worrying about Trogs, only to melt every single one. And from now on I'm even gonna be doing that faster. Up some stairs I found Wild Bill and his unique sidearm. He's got a note to Millie, who we haven't met yet. He's sorry that he couldn't make it and that he let everyone down. That it wasn't just the Trogs, it was the Wild Man too, and that he was finding it very hard to go back to the mill. But oh well, lots of 8 items in a trailer. And ooh, I got a blue postcard from a Trog, which is basically an infinite metro ticket. The only interesting part about that is that the drop rate is 0.4%. Gonna take that as a sign of good luck, and then come the wild man, but I just made quick work of them too. You know, it's funny, cause, well, this isn't being as hard as I expected. I can tell you right now that Point Lookout's insane. Like Nuka World or Far Harbor insane. And that Mothership Zeta is gonna be the second hardest, at least for Fallout 3. That one's coming up really soon as well. I then found a combat shotgun, kept collecting ingots, found some more wildman, and that was the gameplay loop for a lot longer than you imagine. Though, to be fair, I also destroyed a couple turrets. After dealing with the enemies by the furnace and the train cars, I saw a guy.
My poor brother.
Keeping that idiot alive became my #1 priority. As for his brother, I've got a vague idea of that being a scripted encounter that I didn't get to see anyways, except... This is from memory. I think he was just staring at a Trog. Anyways, I found a bucket, I then played some light metal and went into the supply plant. But this time, there were too many enemies at the same time. I mean, I still won, but it made me remember real quick that I had cams. Then, on a terminal, we get some interesting lore. Management brought in Protectrons to the factory. The workers complained, cause obviously they felt like they were gonna get replaced. So the higher-ups assured them the Protectrons would just be there for their safety, but also that they better carry their IDs at all times. This had everything to go wrong, and then it did. Some workers had to be let go after beating one of the robots with a sledgehammer and throwing buckets of water at it. The third log states that 3 new Protectrons are coming in. 1 to replace the incapacitated one, and 2 to replace those 2 workers. After saying hi to more Trogs, I had a dumb idea. There's this pod whose door you can just close, but it just auto-opens if you try to soft-lock yourself, which, good. I don't know why I sounded disappointed on that one. But then I fell to a trap. I didn't see the tripwire. And as I finished off the wildmen that were fighting off Trogs, I got to level 4. Kept improving melee and took the educated perk. I grabbed the ingots and unlocked the door. Over here, besides more ingots, the factory story comes to a conclusion. This time, by the private entries of that Scaliboa right there. It seems that Tom McMullen told management that the self-fulfilling prophecy wasn't going that well. The workers were already worried about being replaced, and now they're seeing their jobs being taken away. And Tom's job is to keep up the morale. Oh, he knows that he's been lying to the man, and that the Protectrons are indeed here to replace them. He even tried to delay a rather large shipment of Protectrons. He made up issues with the last batch of Protectrons to see if management would at least slow down. And as morale is tanking, the Protectrons are massively outperforming the workers by 5-1. And now, some are even blaming the supervisor, that's him, who never had any say on this matter. Entry number 3 mentions a surprise visit to the plant. Seems like either Tom's BS wasn't that convincing, or that it was too much cause now they wanted to come in and see it for themselves. Meaning, they saw firsthand the Protectrons outperforming the workers and more workers tearing apart Protectrons. So naturally, Tom got the blame from both sides. Entry number 4, and the news broke out. Everyone needs to evacuate the plant by 1 PM. The plant is shutting down. But the workers weren't stupid. They knew this was just an excuse and they were hell-bent on blaming this guy. Tom grabbed his pistol and barricaded himself inside the utility closet. The plan was to wait until the man left, but on the next entry, well, the man didn't leave. He explains that he tried, that they don't get it, and that he is sure that they're gonna beat him up if they catch him, but also that the robots will be here in half an hour. The last entry is Tom saying how he begged the man to leave, that they replied that they'll just destroy the robots, and then they all heard the clanking. Laughter turned to cursing, then to screaming. He peeked, and sure enough, the red lasers that he caught a glimpse of told him everything he needed to know. One by one, the screams on the factory came to a halt, and we can perhaps guess that Tom too should have left the factory before 1 PM cause It certainly was a decision to stay in the utility closet. Anyways, I found some. They're not attacking me, but am I supposed to complain about not wasting bullets? On the upper floor and on top of a bed is a unique auto axe, man opener. And there's also a pitching machine that hits some of the ingots. I couldn't ignite the very obvious gas on the hallway despite shooting at it, and this circles back to the entrance, and so far I've gotten 83 out of the 100 ingots. This was when I looked up a guide. I made sure to grab them all, and one was a bit bugged, but eventually I got it. What I couldn't remember for the life of me was the trick to go down without succumbing to gravity, because that is not a fall we can survive, not even with medics. But you can just kinda walk towards the pipe and it'll slow your fall. It's not very intuitive, but it just works. And this got me to 97. As for the last 3, they're in a cart in the mill. Back to Everett's, and my man's about to become very, very happy. Also quite proud, and we're getting 10 amazing rewards. Well, some will be flat out useless or moot, and I cannot even use the best one, but it's still a good improvement. Plus, everything's unique. The Metal Master's armor has 36 damage resistance. The Mauler is another unique auto axe, the Perforator's nice, and the Tribal Power Armor would have been a must if I had Power Armor training. I don't. Cherry on top, Everett's not just glad. The dude actually respects the fuck out of us now.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but I think you cleared out the whole place. We'll get other workers to salvage metal from the buildings. You take a break.
Back to Medea, and it seems that Asher's gonna be delivering a speech right about now. And the rumor is that he'll be opening up the arena. That is perfect for her plans, cause anyone can sign up for the arena, including anyone that wants to earn their freedom. As for the other rewards, it's an audience with Asher, which, yeah, that would be the perfect opportunity. Now, not only did we just did the job that everyone was terrified about, but now we only need to survive several experienced fighters. Stakes, my man, stakes. You're asking me to be Superman twice in a row. Anyways, we can ask. So, he'll just give me the cure? Nope. And she doesn't elaborate further. She just says that Werner's got a distraction planned. As for the speech, it's bugged. 2 different voice lines kick in. I get mentally checked out. I just waited for him to shut up, and sure enough, the rumors were right. Also, apparently I can just use the desk in Medea's house as safe storage, which, yeah, makes it a lot more tidy than having dropped a ton of items near Everett, so I did do the walk of shame.
So you're the dumbass scab that signed up to fight in the hole, huh?
I guess news don't travel that fast in the pits. Also, what kind of nickname is Spook? Lady, I cleared out the entire steel yards, but Spook doesn't matter. It's Phaedra that's gonna set up the fights for us. And for some reason, they got radiated barrels in there. The first fight was a triple threat, I think. I took care of both idiots before they even knew it. As for the second one, now that was a handicap match, cause it's against the Bear Brothers, and they are absolutely not gonna be fighting each other. Groot's dream of becoming a 5,000-piece puzzle happened upon contact, and John Bear lasted about as long as I could with Emilia Clarke. Back to Phaedra, and oh, if we win one more fight, she won't get to call us scab anymore. And this one, it's against another former champion that earned his freedom, Gruber. He is undefeated, but so are we. I kinda embarrassed him. I even felt a bit bad, but he's got me another perk. The fights in the hole have made us stronger. We're now more resistant to radiation and to damage. Crenshaw shows up to congratulate us. Phaedra is just there being unable to move because it is Fallout. And we've got a meeting with Asher to attend. And safe working conditions has been completed. And the final main quest of the DLC begins. Free labor. At this point, I'm trying to tie loose ends. Brand doesn't let me snitch even if I wanted to. Oh, and I completely forgot about the sick guy and he despawned. My bad. But I did remember to go and talk to Millie.
Have you seen Wild Bill around?
I did.
Oh, that's wonderful. Where is he now? Did he come back with you?
Dead. I didn't have enough speech to lie, but we could have basically pretended he's fine but won't be coming back. Or we could have been very, very mean. 6 Stimpaks though. And now that we've been allowed past the gates, we could meet some of the higher-ups. There is a good bit of dialogue, but that's all these guys have for us. Some can be vendors, but there's nothing unique, or that I'll need, even. To sum it all up, Duke is pretty blunt about how many of them are afraid to admit that they too used to be slaves. Though, sure, some are just people from the wasteland that decided to join the biggest gang around. There's also Bingo.
Bingo? Bingo! Bingo.
Okay. Friday can repair your items, loves to call you newbie, and unless you want a missile launcher, mentats or steam packs, you don't really have a reason to talk to her. I also found the terminal. It's from a nurse during the war. The first patient had muscle pain, swollen in large lymph nodes, a feeling of unease, and the dude might just have herpes. As for Reloy Jenkins, he had a runny nose, fever, swollen feet, bad breath, a headache, that liver's done, and he sweats like a motherfucker. As for the third log, it's about how being close to the mill is bad, but only to the patients? Cause she goes on about that the war's ongoing, but that they'll be able to afford the new office now. Bit weird, but yeah, business was thriving. Kinda prefer my nurses happier about less busier days, but okay. Anyways, Lulu's the Lulu, and a bit of a bitch, but she does give you noodles. Right up, he loves Fallout 3 so much, he's the color of it. Vikia looks like a haunted doll and thinks she's better than you, which, if I had that haircut, I'd probably be a dick too. Squill's cool.
The champion of the hole.
As for Phantom, he thinks the lazy workers should complain less, cause it's the raiders that actually have to go fight the trogs that turn them into food, but, well, let's just say that Phantom hasn't exactly been eating slop. He does give you right away though, and we can explore a miscellaneous location, the abandoned apartments. I just fought some trogs over there, but I found a couple of interesting things though, like the hat of the people. And I got to level 5, kept improving melee, took the second rank of the gun nut perk, and took care of more trogs. I also got me a Nuka-Cola Quantum. Then I met Mona. She's got no self-confidence and we can basically call her a ghoul. Old Dog's got the best name of them all, and I guess we can pretend we've got Intelligence 1. Then I saw a really cool effigy, just by Asher's Palace, and it's time to go in and meet the monster in charge of the entire operation.
Sir, we've had sightings of Werner back in the city, and there's been an increase in chatter between slaves.
Workers.
What?
We call them workers. Helps with morale. Reminds them that they might earn their freedom someday.
Whatever we call them, they've been gathering makeshift weapons.
Asher told Crenshaw to keep the guards in high alert, and he outright asks us, who are we and what are we doing in his city? I just said it's complicated. I'm new and I'm looking for work. The first thing to catch my attention is that right after mentioning that he isn't just growing an army and an industry, he wants to develop a cure for radiation. And then he goes straight into it. He asks us if we know Werner, and I didn't lie. I do. He is the one that brought me here. He appreciated the honesty and says that Werner is a former lieutenant of his, one that betrayed him and escaped justice. Well, he says justice, but to be fair, Werner escaped Asher's justice. He also knows that Werner intends to steal something very dear to the city.
Do you intend to follow through with his plan? Feel free to be honest. Please, don't be intimidated by the turret behind you.
Again, I just told him the truth. I accepted a job to steal a valuable cure, and that'll get me paid.
Oh, it's valuable. I'd say there's nothing I care more about in the world. But Werner doesn't truly appreciate everything it means to me, or to the Pit. Now, if caps are all you want, I can make you a much better offer than that snake.
And that's when the riot begins. Asher leaves, we've got to choose who to side with, and there is one final NPC that we can talk to. His wife.
Oh, I wasn't expecting Asher to let you into the lab. I'm Sandra, and if I know my husband, he's already made you an offer to join us, right? So you're here to see our little miracle, aren't you? This is my daughter Marie. She can be a handful, but my little angel is going to save the city.
The baby is the cure, kinda. When we say that she's not a vaccine, Sandra replies that the kiddo's got a natural, acquired immunity to any form of mutation. She will never turn into one of the trogs, or a ghoul, or anything else. And that by studying her, they can keep that from happening to others. Now, I don't know how well you can read between the lines, but either we steal a baby that's immune to radiation or we don't. There is no cure. And there was never a cure to begin with. There's just the possibility of maybe developing something. On the terminal, the disease is explained a bit more in depth. troglodyte degeneration contagion, or TDC, as she abridges it. It's the result of intensely concentrated radiation caused by the toxins and pollutants in the pit. Also, I love her last name. Kundanika's fun as fuck to say out loud, seriously try it. Anyways, symptoms. Skin lesions after a few weeks is all that most people get. But it also affects brain chemistry and can lead to psychosis. 20% of adults will see the disease progress, losing their higher reasoning and motor skills until they become a trog. And no one has ever recovered from full degeneration, despite rumors that persist about trogs retaining memories, and I just remembered that I'm pretty sure that's the animation I didn't see in the Steelyard because went around. I think it's just fair to assume that a trog could have killed him a lot faster and that we had to intervene, but that it would have seemed like maybe he recognized him. But that's irrelevant. As for the worst part, newborns in TDC active areas go feral within weeks. Which, yeah, a cure matters. And Sandra keeps going. She wrote that the test she's done shows that Marie had a natural adaptive immunity that carries on to other forms of radiation-induced diseases. From radiation sickness to getting a sixth toe, Marie is immune to all of it. And then there's the reason why there is no cure. Yet. Attempts to isolate these effects have been slow going due to the delicate nature of the subject, who requires utmost care. It's a baby. That's the mother, and she's a doctor. I've made my decision. We're eating the baby and becoming immune to radiation. That's a joke. That's a mod. I didn't install mods. I heard a while back that a lot of people to this day still think that's part of the DLC. It isn't. It's just a mod that got viral back in the day. And I'm gonna leave the only scientist I've met to do her best at finding a cure. Guess I've learned something about myself because I've wiped out the entire Mojave while trying to stay neutral, but I couldn't kidnap a bebe again. Now, can anyone explain why I'm getting attacked on sight just by not holding a baby? I don't like it when you try to slice me as if I was a fucking pizza ingredient. And let's go over a couple of things. 1. I don't like it when a job is not clear and people keep very important context from me. 2. I don't like it when a cure is actually just maybe a perhaps possibility that somehow an immune system might become the thing that's very much not the fucking thing. 3. Mireya's not a scientist, and neither is Werner. Are they just gonna babysit while taking blood samples? With zero care for the kiddo, while what? Learning on the job? How about we let the one scientist in Pittsburgh continue her research instead of ruining the cure for everybody? Because it's not like they were planning on taking Marie to Rivet City and then begging Dr. Lee or whoever to take a look. And I want to go on, but I kinda need the rest of the context from Medea, Werner, and Asher, so we all have continuity instead of me just getting ahead of myself. So, I returned to Medea. And now I gotta listen to how I'm not the first person to gain their freedom and to forget where I came from? I'm sorry, did you forget where I came from? I came from a vault. I just spent a few in-game days, in here at best I assume. And what was I supposed to do? Trauma bond over the fact that I had to be Hercules twice? Everyone dies in the Steelyard. I didn't. The arena ain't exactly a holiday either, man. If we're gonna discuss morals and ethics, I am not ignoring the fact that this bitch would have had me killed without blinking, and now is pretending that I wasn't just a wildcard that she sent to the slaughter twice. And after all that, it turns out that not only the cure is not really a cure, but these guys have no clue how to go from the bebe to the cure. I mean, just say it outright, like it is. You wanted freedom and revenge. Even if it costs a city, every single person that's sick, and a healthy child.
No, we expected you to steal the one thing that was both a cure for our children and a hostage to earn our freedom.
No, you didn't. You expected me to free you, because understandably you want to be free, but everything else is just convenient wishful thinking not rooted in fact. Plus, I'm not letting go of the fact that you basically tried to sacrifice me twice. If it doesn't work, fuck me, right? It's not your neck that's on the line. You also lied to my face. And then I'm getting shot at by every single woe is me just because I'm not holding a baby?
But congratulations. Your petty sentimentality has doomed us to continued slavery and pestilence.
Oh, so everything is somehow my fault.
They'd rather die for freedom than die working for the Raiders.
I get it, but you either point me to Werner or I'm pulling a Joshua Graham.
Just to find one man? You wouldn't dare.
And she just rats out the location. I killed her. And only now did I remember to go back to the arena's footlocker. My items, I got them back.
Ah, you finally made it. I've got everything ready, and there are plenty of tests to run, so hurry up and put the... Wait, where's the cure? Did you lose it? Where is that little bastard?
Did you lose it? Why was everyone attacking me with auto access, and was I supposed to get here with Marie in one hand while cosplaying as Swiss cheese dimwit? So yeah, quite predictably, I had my revenge, and then I went back to Ashur.
Now that Marie's back, we have a chance at curing the disease that's been ravaging the pit since the bombs. Without it killing our kids, we can grow like a real city. No more bringing in slaves. No more forced labor. Things can get better. It's taken me a lot of work to rebuild this city. With your help, it's finally going to have a chance.
Now, he did say that, but until there is a cure, he will keep using the slave labor. As for our reward, we get to use the ammo press in the mill and to come and go out of the pit as we deem fit. But Sandra's already made some progress. Medical research from the pit has improved your life. And I don't need to try not to think what it may have cost others, but I'll rip that one to shreds in a second. Asher then says that we can always stop by with teddy bears for Marie. We'll do. And he ends it by saying that the Brotherhood was just lazy. Easier to loot a dying city than it is to bring it back to life. True. Do I like his methods? No. Do I like my villains complicated, with nuance, and sometimes with the ends justifying the memes? They're villains, not heroes, and there's already one Frank Horrigan, so yeah. Make it complicated. Let me understand why they did it. Even if I have to side with someone that I don't even agree with. I want to pinpoint exactly where their good intentions made their soul just that one tiny bit more unforgivable before it all derailed. And I'll be honest, brother, I think they done goofed up a bit. The slaves part is a great conundrum. Would you risk dying as a free man, or to know you'll live another day without any real freedom? 10 out of 10. Just imagining that is messed up. But then Bethesda tried to do a lot of things at the same time, and just imagine this instead. What if Medea was genuinely the fastest way to get a cure, at the cost of Marie having a terrible childhood? And what if Sandra would have been so overbearing that she would end up becoming the reason why the cure took a lot longer to get? That would have added a much bigger ethical issue on top of the obvious one. Because we kinda just did all this to realize that Werner and Medea were two unqualified dummies that were just well-intended and whose plan was to bet everything on vibes? They're willing to risk killing Marie in the process. Hell, they were risking to kill me, Steelyard, Arena, defy all odds, twice. Then for the big reveal, the irredeemable Lord Slaver's goals are to actually rebuild Pittsburgh, making it a city again for the first time since the bombs drop. Turns out he's the only realistic chance of basically curing every single radiation disease. And now that he has a daughter, he actually wants to pass on a good world onto her. Look, I'm not trying to downplay this shit, but Asher is not exactly Eulogy Jones or Leggett Linnaeus. What I'm saying is that Werner and Medea are the best odds for the pit to become fucked, probably forever. For Marie to be traumatized, or worse, for no one having a cure, and at the end, they still all die sick. And that's when it hit me like a brick. Wait, so if I'm playing as a good person, I've got two choices. Cause which kind of good person am I? One with an incorruptible soul? Or do I go for the greater good? Doesn't matter, that's the issue. If you cannot corrupt me, I am not stealing a baby. As for the greater good, that is the city and the cure, not the slaves. Holy shit, this was just slavery bad, okay? Cause duh, the sky's blue. Drink water if you're feeling sluggish, and if you're feeling sad, ask someone to slap you with a titty. I'm siding with Sandra and Marie. No more cancer for one temporary gulag, well, yeah. As always, remember to check the channel and the playlist for more videos, and if you want to help me out, just click that like button, leave a comment, or join as a member if that is something you would do. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle, to John Walker, to Glitchtail, to Devon Lowry, to Zoxys, to Dancing Peach, to Carter Moore, and to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you have a good one. Bye.